It is 8:47 a.m. Pacific Daylight Time. It's the 24th day of March 2026, and this is episode 1284 of Bitcoin. And the NYSE is going to be first up on our list, New York Stock Exchange, tapping a company named Securitize for its 24/7 tokenized securities platform. This shit's coming fast, y'all. It's coming fast. I got that one and a lot more here on the Bitcoin and Podcast with me, your host, David Bennett. I'm going to give you all the news that you can use about Bitcoin and macro from around the world. And just a little bit more than that. MoonPay. MoonPay and wallet standards for agents should be interesting when we get into that one. The FSB has flagged dollar stablecoins as a big risk. And if you didn't think they were wetting their diapers enough on this one, the ECB is having some serious problems with tokenized deposits and stablecoins. They are continuously sounding their alarm. And then we're going to run over to Delaware in the second half of the show. Delaware is where a lot, in fact, historically, most corporations incorporate in the state of Delaware because, well, the way that the state of Delaware allows corporate structures. And now they're restructuring something else, and we'll talk about it. Then we're going to go down under to Australia. Pension fund might be able to get a hold of some Bitcoin. Then Polymarket and Kalshi making waves as they counter one of the problems that everybody seems to have a problem with, including yours truly. I'm not a big fan of the insider trading thing, as you well know, and it looks like they might actually be trying to wrap their heads around it. Then Mr. Beast, Senator Warren, putting her talons out for a private citizen. And then Total Energies. We're going to bring up the rear of the show with an energy story about this company called Total Energies. They look like they're just going to get out of wind projects. And I'll tell you what they're going to get into. And it's kind of timely considering all the shit that's going on in the Middle East. But first, the New York Stock Exchange taps Securitize to develop 24/7 tokenized securities platform. This is from The Block, written by Naga Avan-Nomeo. The New York Stock Exchange has partnered with Securitize in its push to bring equities trading onto blockchain rails through its own tokenized securities platform. Oh, joy. Under the arrangement, Securitize will enable the creation and management of shares for stocks and exchange-traded funds as blockchain-based tokens, allowing them to be issued and traded in digital format. Oh, well, that's going to be fun. Securitize announced this today on Tuesday. The Wall Street Journal first reported the news, by the way, and NYSE had previously outlined plans to build a tokenized securities venue capable of 24-hour-a-day, 7-day-a-week trading in January. The addition of Securitize formalizes a core piece of that infrastructure, linking the exchange's ambitions with an established player in digital asset issuance. Securitize specializes in tokenized real-world assets, converting traditional financial instruments into blockchain-native representations that can be traded more efficiently. The firm has worked with institutions including BlackRock, which earlier launched a tokenized fund through Securitize's platform. Lately, Wall Street has been awash with the tokenization trend. Exchanges and asset managers are accelerating efforts to integrate tokenization into existing systems. Proponents tout the technology's promise of faster settlement, expanded trading hours, and improved capital efficiency. Notably, mass adoption is still subject to evolving regulatory frameworks. Rival exchanges are moving in parallel regardless. NASDAQ has teamed up with crypto exchange Kraken to connect tokenized equities with decentralized finance networks. A supportive policy backdrop is also gaining steam. The U.S. Securities and Exchange Commission has begun opening the door to pilot programs and industry engagement on the structure of digital securities. Officials, including Hester Pierce, have encouraged firms exploring tokenization to engage directly with regulators, signaling a more accommodative stance as the technology evolves. Okay, so I've got this part highlighted up here. The proponents of tokenization of securities tout the technology's promise of faster settlement, improved capital efficiency, but here's the most important part: expanded trading hours. Now, let's just reflect back on the past few weeks, the past couple of months, the past more months after that. There's been this, and it honestly, it's kind of always been this way, but we're really seeing it, here with the Gulf War stuff. You never, ever, 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 ever launch an attack on Thursday or Wednesday or Tuesday, for that matter. No, you wait for either Saturday or after closing bell New York time on Friday. Why? Because these markets are so brittle, they are so fragile that it's like baking a cake. Do not slam doors, do not slam cabinets, don't walk too hard on the floor because you'll make the cake fall, because cakes apparently do that shit. That's what this is like. You can't do nothing without scaring the bejesus out of apparently half of the world's population, which are traders, because they will sell everything immediately. It doesn't matter what the hell happened, right? You drop a bomb, sell. You fire a shot over the bow of a boat, you sell. You issue a warning to an ambassador to the U.S. of some country that you want to go bomb, and boom, sell. Everything sell. What is it going to look like if we enter, and actually it's not if, when we enter a time where there is no close to the New York Stock Exchange, there is no close to NASDAQ, there's no closing the S&P 500. And even if those particular exchanges physically close themselves, the fact that you can trade this shit 24/7, whether NYSE is open or not, is going to be a game changer for world geopolitics. Because now let's just extend this into the future. Let's say that we can buy whatever stock and bond we want. We can do it in our underwear at 3 o'clock in the morning on Sunday because we woke up and had a bad dream. All right. At that point, you can't drop a bomb anytime during a week that it won't affect markets. You won't be able to say things like, we've had some really productive talks with Iran, and we're going to give them 5 days before we start bombing them back into the Stone Age. We saw the effect of that. But that one he actually did during market open Monday morning, right? But generally speaking, they always wait for news like that after markets close or while markets are closed. But more often than not, it's at close on Friday. Anytime after that, all bets are off. Anybody's going to be able to do anything. But this will no longer be the case. And this is rapidly approaching. So what does it mean now? Will it actually put a damper on decisions that are easy to make when it comes to dropping 1,000-pound bunker buster bombs on some country somewhere? Will it actually make people stop and go, you know what? We can't really do that, because if we do that, people are going to sell all their shit and it's going to jack up markets. It'll be interesting to see the behavior changes, and I believe that there will be changes in the behavior of our purported dear leaders. And that not only goes for our own here in the United States, but everybody's from every nation. So keep this in mind, because this shit is going to, by the end of this year, I can almost guarantee that over 50% of equities and bonds and markets in general will be available for trading 24/7 in some format or another. So watch out, because it's coming. Now, MoonPay got their heads in the right direction. They're launching open source wallet standard for artificial intelligence agents. Micah Zimmerman, Bitcoin Magazine. MoonPay recently launched an open source wallet standard to equip artificial intelligence agents with the ability to manage funds and conduct transactions across multiple blockchains. By doing so, MoonPay says it is trying to confront the challenges posed by the existing fragmentation in wallet and key management systems that autonomous software often encounter. The escalating involvement of AI agents in economic activities underscores the urgent need for standardized financial tools that streamline operations and minimize risks. Under traditional systems, each AI agent typically must handle its own keys and maintain a distinct balance, which invariably leads to inefficient processes and heightened security vulnerabilities. For example, a lack of coordination among key management can expose funds to hacks or loss, particularly if agents operate in an environment with differing security protocols. MoonPay's initiative aims to counter these risks by providing a cohesive framework for wallet access and transaction execution, benefiting both AI developers and their end users. This platform, or rather this development, not only enhances operational efficiency, but also paves the way for broader adoption of Bitcoin and other cryptocurrencies in the AI sector. As these agents become more prevalent across trading, e-commerce, and automated financial services, the demand for seamless interactions with blockchain technology will grow accordingly. The newly introduced MoonPay wallet standard is composed of several pivotal features designed to optimize the functioning of AI agents within various blockchain environments. 1. Unified access. AI agents are empowered to function from centralized pools of funds. This feature eliminates the fragmentation of multiple disconnected accounts, facilitating smoother transaction flow. 2. Secure key management. This wallet standard prioritizes security by ensuring that private keys are stored with an encrypted local vault. Transactions are signed in a dedicated, isolated process, which keeps keys out of the agent's runtime environment, thus mitigating the risk of exposure during transactions. 3. Policy controls. Users can implement spending limits and restrictions, offering them control over the transactions that an AI agent can initiate. This feature is particularly valuable in organizational contexts where oversight and compliance with internal financial policies are critical. 4th and finally, modular design. The standard adopts an open source, modular approach encompassing essential components such as storage systems, signing processes, policy controls, and compatibility with a range of blockchains. This flexibility will allow developers to tailor the wallet to meet the specific needs of various AI applications. These integrated features collectively aim to bolster the security and efficiency of AI-conducted financial transactions, supporting the growing trend of automation in business operations. MoonPay's endeavor to establish this wallet standard was bolstered by contributions from more than 12 companies, including notable entries like PayPal, OKX, and Circle. The participation of various blockchain foundations and infrastructure providers demonstrates the industry's collective recognition of the need to effectively integrate AI agents into blockchain ecosystems. Such collaboration is pivotal to adopting new technologies that could reshape financial services. The introduction of MoonPay's wallet framework for AI agents presents significant implications for the Bitcoin network specifically. By facilitating seamless interactions, this development could lead to increased transaction volumes and the emergence of innovative use cases. For instance, AI-driven trading algorithms, may use the wallet to execute transactions more efficiently, potentially stabilizing market dynamics by improving liquidity. Furthermore, as the integration takes hold, it could spur greater adoption of Bitcoin and other cryptocurrencies among businesses looking to leverage AI capabilities. Companies may find new opportunities for efficiency and cost effectiveness in utilizing Bitcoin for automated financial transactions, driving further integration of AI into daily business practice. Looking ahead, as AI technology continues to accelerate, the integration of standardized financial tools is poised to become increasingly impactful. MoonPay's open source wallet standard stands as a crucial step in promoting autonomous economic activities for AI agents. Its implications extend beyond mere financial transactions, influencing the ongoing intersection of AI and blockchain technologies. This is coming too. There's no stopping any of this shit now. And honestly, there never was. It's like, we're going to stop the internet. How did that work out? And there were people that were talking about that shit too, by the way. Sorry, I'm having a little bit of coffee there. There's a lot to wrap our heads around. And what is really the most problematic thing about where we are right now is how fast all of this is moving. And there's kind of three major prongs here. Stablecoins, which we're about to get into. The tokenization of damn near everything. And while we used to laugh at bananas on the blockchain, and we still should laugh at stuff like that, securities, it makes a kind of sense. Because at this point, securities are just digital anyway. Equities, you buy some ExxonMobil stock, they don't send you a stock certificate. You don't physically possess proof of purchase, as it were. All this is basically ledgers and spreadsheets and who bought what when and double entry accounting and all that kind of shit. In either event, it's mostly digital. So tokenization of securities, equities, bonds, derivatives, you name it, futures contracts, it's all digital anyway. So this is, in this particular format and context, it kind of makes sense. Physical structure like bananas on the blockchain are never going to make sense, but securities do. So stablecoins, tokenization of damn near everything digital, and artificial intelligence. And I talked to you about Nomad yesterday. We're seeing, at this point, I'm seeing a structural shift in applications of where AI is going and what kind of things are starting to bubble out from that. And Nomad, if you didn't listen to yesterday's show, I talk about it at the very end of the show, is a great example of how we're starting to see some differential architecture bubbling out of AI. It's not fully AI itself. It's just part of it. And we're going to see more and more and more and more and more of this. And what I've been after forever is basically a structure that allows me, as a human, not an AI agent, but a structure that allows me to use a piece of software and pay sats as I use that software. And when I close that software, or while I'm not using the mouse, or I haven't activated something internal in the software that needs to process for a while, as long as it's just idle, the sats stop flowing. The minute I start picking up my mouse and doing shit with that software package, sats start flowing. Like, for instance, I use FL Studio as my digital audio workstation, which is what I'm recording this on right now. While I'm recording, instead of, and I love FL Studio. I paid $100 for it. It's mine. I love that structure. Under no circumstances, do not think that I wouldn't want that for everything. I want to be able to just own it. But we are in the age of the subscription model, as everybody definitely knows. So if we are going to continue in the subscription model thing, I don't want to pay a month for something I use maybe twice that month. I want to be able to stream sats while I'm using it. One of these days, that's going to happen. I just don't know when. And this also goes for magazine subscriptions. Like, if I want to read one thing from Fortune, I don't want to pay for a month of a subscription. Even if it was $1, I don't want to go through the friction of doing all the enter my credit card number, enter my address, enter my name. That's a friction point. I just want to read the damn article. So it would be better if there was just a paywall that was lightning based on all of this stuff, or while I'm on their website and I'm perusing through their articles, I'm just streaming them Satoshis. This is not hard. A lot of these problems have actually already been solved, but not nobody, but legacy people just refuse to implement it. They're locked in this subscription model mindset, and we've got to get them out of it. But the landscape is changing so fast, just between stablecoins, tokenization of securities and digital assets, and AI, that it's really hard to keep shit straight. Expect that to continue for quite some time. And the questions we need to ask ourselves is, how do we navigate that? We're going to have to learn how to navigate that. Just be aware. Now, the FSB has flagged dollar stablecoins as bigger risk for emerging markets in their annual report. Zoltan Varde from Cointelegraph is going to tell us about more crying and diaper wetting here. The Financial Stability Board, the FSB, a global financial watchdog hosted by the Bank of International Settlements, the BIS, warned on Tuesday that foreign currency denominated stablecoins can pose financial stability and macroeconomic risk for emerging markets and developing economies. Oh, the children. In its annual report for 2025, the FSB said that US dollar denominated stablecoin circulating across multiple jurisdictions pose, quote, potentially more acute risks to the financial stability of emerging markets. The report said those risks can include currency substitution, reduced use of domestic payment systems, lower effectiveness of domestic monetary policy, strains on fiscal resources, and the circumvention of capital flow measures. The FSB said it remains necessary for lawmakers to assess how the stablecoin sector develops in order to understand and respond to vulnerabilities related to liquidity, operational risk, and interlinkages with the broader financial system. The report builds on the FSB's 2023 Global Regulatory Framework for Crypto Asset Activities and Global Stablecoin Arrangements, which the board reviewed in 2025 and said still shows significant gaps and inconsistencies in implementation. The FSB was established in April of 2009 as a successor to the Financial Stability Forum. It was created by G20 economies after the 2008 financial crisis to strengthen global financial systems. Crypto assets and stablecoins still lack adoption in real economic use cases such as payments, the FSB said in the report, quote, despite growth in these markets in recent years. Crypto assets and stablecoins are not widely used in financial services reporting or supporting the real economy, end quote. The report said stablecoins can provide benefits, but added that authorities should continue monitoring vulnerabilities tied to interlinkages, liquidity, and operational risks as linkages with core financial markets and institutions increase. The FSB also outlined other key areas of focus in 2026, including digital innovation related to crypto assets and monitoring stablecoin vulnerabilities. Other focal points included monitoring vulnerabilities tied to private credit, which is blowing out right now, non-bank financial intermediation, cross-border payments, and the implementation of additional measures tied to crisis preparedness and regulatory monetization. So that's the end of that particular article, but I got this highlighted up here. Reduced use of domestic payment systems and lower effectiveness of domestic monetary policy. Now let's think about that. The FSB is a subsection of the Bank of International Settlements, which is heavily linked to the International Monetary Fund and the World Bank. If what they're saying in their report is true for you as it sits in my gut being true for me, what they're really saying is that this is a loss of their control, because if they can't enact regional monetary policy in places by giving a country a loan. Let's say that they're going to go to Ghana and say, hey, we're going to give you a $4 billion loan, but your monetary policy needs to adjust to look like this. Well, if stablecoin makes it a little bit less manageable to make sure that that monetary policy is being enforced at the regional level, then all of a sudden, BIS, IMF, and the World Bank don't have as much control. That's why they're pissed. That's why they're crying. And here's the thing. Oh, won't somebody think of the children? Oh, won't somebody think of the developing economies? The third world nation. It's the same Christmas wrapping paper of their fear that they are giving us for Christmas. It's sad to watch this happen, that grown men and women in suits that have some kind of power are literally appealing to our save the children emotions to make sure that we think going forward that stablecoin is evil. That's narrative working 100% against you. And it makes me kind of hungry, which is why I'm going to go to oshigood.us/shop. That's oshigood.us, where you can get crunchy HODL butter. If you've never tried Oshi's HODL butter, you got to try Oshi's HODL butter. Why? It's like peanut butter, but it's pecans, right? That is the majority of HODL butter. It's pecans, maple sugar, not maple syrup, maple sugar, sea salt flakes, cinnamon, and black pepper. Dude, that's it. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 ingredients. And this stuff is absolutely gorgeous. And one of the ways that I cannot stop thinking about a picture that I saw, somebody cooked a beautiful New York strip steak, beautiful caramelization. I mean, a great crust. And he put a dollop of HODL butter right on top. And as the steak basically kind of like you take it right off the grill, you put butter on it, but in this case, the guy puts HODL butter on it, and you let that meat rest for like 10 minutes. And while that heat is kind of dissipating out of the steak, it's melting this HODL butter all over the steak. Oh my God. Now, the description that the guy that did this, he was describing the taste, and he's like, you have no idea how good this is. And I can imagine. And that's on steak. If you can put this stuff on steak, think about how good it's going to be, like, I don't know, on a biscuit with some jelly. This stuff is freaking amazing. Get yours at oshigood.us. That's oshigood.us. Make sure that you put in the code Bitcoin, and that's going to tell Oshi that you heard about it here on the Circle P, where I bring plebs with goods and services just like you to plebs just like you who want to buy said goods and services, but you will be buying it in Bitcoin, because if you're not selling it in Bitcoin, you're not in the Circle P. Go to oshigood.us, round yourself up some HODL butter. Now, the crying is not over when it comes to stablecoins. The European Central Bank says stablecoins, tokenized deposits, both of them need central bank money to scale. Oh, you need us. Oh, you need us. Zoltan Vardai is writing this one for Cointelegraph as well. Tokenized deposits and stablecoins need tokenized central bank money as a public settlement anchor if Europe's tokenized financial markets are to scale. Piero Cipriani, a member of the European Central Bank's executive board, said on Monday. He pointed to Pontes, the Eurosystem's distributed ledger technology settlement initiative, which is designed to connect market DLT platforms to the Eurosystem's target services and provide settlement and central bank money. Quote, without tokenized central bank money, a seller of a tokenized security may receive payment in an asset they are not comfortable holding. Oh my God. One, exposed to price volatility, maybe even exposed to credit risk, which limits the market's ability to scale, he said in a speech at the House of the Euro in Brussels on Monday. Ooh, House of the Euro. Their dollar has its own house of the euro. This is ridiculous. The ECB said Pontes is due for an initial launch in the third quarter of this year, allowing market participants to settle DLT-based transactions in central money. The comments build on the ECB's broader Appia initiative published on March 11th, which is intended to produce a blueprint for a future European tokenized financial ecosystem by 2028. Beyond settlement and central bank money, he said Europe also needs closer public-private cooperation in a legal framework that matches the technology. One of Appia's building blocks serves as interoperability standards for assets, ensuring the tokenized assets can be transferred across different DLT platforms via a compatible data format and smart contract standards. DLT, they keep saying it, it's distributed ledger technology, just in case you didn't know. One of Appia's building blocks serves as interoperability. Oh, wow, I already did that. Cipriani urged market infrastructure operators, banks, custodians, and technology providers to explore and submit feedback related to the Appia roadmap, seeking to foster more public-private partnerships. I don't want public-private partnerships. If I want any communication between public and private entities, it needs to be a contract. Like, hey, we need these roads built. What private contractor would like to actually build these roads? Please submit a bid and all your building materials and hours work, like the whole shebang. And then we'll select one, and then we will make a contract. But a partnership, these long-standing relationships, I don't like these because they're teetering on the edge of fascism. By definition, I'm swear to God, not a blue hair. I don't use the term fascism to like describe everything that I see that makes me angry. No, fascism has a very clear definition. It is literally a partnership between public institutions and private institutions. And generally speaking, the citizenry gets hurt when that happens. That's why we don't like them. But the whole notion that the ECB is coming out literally begging the people to listen to them. You need us. You have to have us. You can't scale this technology without us. And my answer is bullshit. Watch us. Let's run the numbers. CNBC futures and commodities. Yeah, that little move yesterday where we were, going to wait 5 days to bomb Iran into the Stone Age doesn't seem to be holding as much water today. And I'm not talking about the agreement. Trump is still saying that he's going to wait 5 days. No. I'm talking about the energy markets. I don't think they're buying it anymore. I think they had all of 18 hours of relief in oil prices, but it's not holding. Brent North Sea is up 4.14% to $104 a barrel. West Texas Intermediate is up almost 5 to $92.43. Natural gas is up 1.5 back to $2.93 per thousand, and gasoline is up 4.32% back to $3.10 a gallon. Murban crude, however, has fallen precipitously, and that is essentially oil coming out of the UAE. Right, that's like sort of like Middle East oil, right? It's down 14%. I'm guessing it's who knows why the fuck it's down. It doesn't seem right, but $116 a barrel is still pretty damn expensive. Metals are making a small comeback this morning, though not a whole lot. Palladium is down 0.75 points. Gold is up, but barely. It's still at $4,410.07. Platinum is up 1 1/3 point. Silver is up 2/3 point to $69.81. Copper is down 1/3. Most ag futures are in the green today. Biggest winner is coffee, 3.5% to the upside. Biggest loser is lumber, 1.85 to the downside. Live cattle up 0.18%. Lean hogs down a row of sticks. Feeder cattle down a bigger row of sticks, 1.11%. No, not down, up. It's in the green. Feeder cattle in the green, 1.11% to the upside. Indexes are mixed today. S&P is down 0.18%. NASDAQ is down a half. The Dow is up 0.08%, and the S&P Mini is up almost a full point. And we're looking at $69,840 for one Bitcoin. That's a $1.4 trillion market cap, and we can only purchase 15.8 ounces of our favorite shiny metal rock with our one Bitcoin, of which there are 20,006,079 and a quarter of. Average fees per block are nominal, 0.02 BTC taken in fees on a per block basis. There's 18 blocks carrying 23,000 unconfirmed transactions waiting to clear at high priority rates of 2 sats per VByte. Low priority gets you in at 0.3. Hash rate it's coming in. Hold on. 980 exahashes per second. So the march back up to 1 zettahash continues. I'm unconcerned. I'm unconcerned. We had a dip down to like 930 exahashes per second, and like clockwork, FUD stories start hitting the news about Bitcoin mining death spiral, and I'm so over it. Now, from excuse me, Iran. Yesterday's episode of Bitcoin and Oak Grove gave me some cash. I'm going to read it to you here in a second, but 2,500 sats for this one. Jason Hyde with 250 says, absolute power attracts the corruptible. Absolutely, dude. Nick Dose with 176 says, cheers, right back at you. Noster Gang with 100 says, oh no, not the ECB. Yeah, the ECB. Now, Dubrovko, or Oak Grove, sorry. He says this, my notepad keeps disallowing me to copy and paste the whole passage. Oh, okay, I see. So he rewrites this thing, and he says, spring of 2019, I went to Rhode Island. Ugh, would go back. I am delivering motor oil to a warehouse for these products, my gas trailer pumping into tanks. I was talking to my liaison and asked about the huge fabric totes with handles, and he notified me that was powdered urea. Oh, that they were going to make diesel exhaust fluid for every heavy truck, every diesel vehicle period that has an output of 75 horsepower or more since 2007. Without that, a truck would shut down in 2 shifts and stop working. A very high 90-something percentage of the urea sent to the U.S. comes from Russia, with some from China. That was a security risk in 2019. That was a much larger one after the invasion of Ukraine. Now, with the strait shut down, fertilizer and diesel exhaust fluid will become more expensive. And we are that much closer to having to choose between failed crops and trucks and drivers out of commission. I could hardly choose better supplies to block than oil and urea. Yeah, see, Oak Grove brings up a really good point, because it's not just fertilizer that urea is charging. I did not know this about diesel exhaust fluid, DEF. That's that shit that you have to put into your diesel-powered truck, otherwise it'll shut down. Unless, and I've heard, I don't know how, but I've heard people have done it, that they somehow disconnect that system altogether. I guess that means that they have to reconnect it when they get their vehicle inspected, if you live in a state where that happens. I don't know. But I have heard stories of people saying, I'm done. I am not going to pump more of my money into my car for this worthless DEF. I've heard it does absolutely freaking nothing. But then again, I don't know. I don't drive a diesel, so I don't know if it's better for the car or not. I suspect that it doesn't do anything. Except to steal more of your money. But Oak Grove is absolutely right. Now, I saw diesel prices at like $6 in Eastern Washington. $6 a gallon for diesel. And all the time that you see the diesel price, what a lot of people don't see is how much more per gallon you have to add on top of that for the diesel exhaust fluid that you have to run concurrently in your diesel truck or car or whatever. We're all being robbed, man. That's the weather report. Welcome to part 2 of the news that you can use. I get the feeling Polymarket and Kalshi's fight against Arizona and the couple of other states that have basically blocked them from doing any kind of business in their state. I don't think those fights for Polymarket and Kalshi are going well for them because they've made moves to counter insider trading as scrutiny grows. Logan Hitchcock from Decrypt has this one for us, and he says, if I can get to it, prediction markets, Polymarket and Kalshi are taking steps to remove insider trading from their platforms, announcing updates to rules and tooling, respectively, on Monday as scrutiny continues to build on prediction markets and their offerings. The strategic advancement for both firms comes as Democratic lawmakers have begun targeting prediction markets and sought to outlaw particular markets like those focused on war entirely. For Polymarket, Monday's steps include upgrading integrity rules and clarifying types of insider trading conduct like trading on insider information or illegal tips, which are prohibited behaviors on the firm's DeFi platform and its CFTC-regulated U.S. platform. Quote, these rule enhancements make our expectations abundantly clear for every participant across both platforms and highlight the compliance infrastructure we have already built, Polymarket Chief Legal Officer Neil Kumar said in a statement, quote, as Polymarket continues to scale, we will build on our foundation with clear communication to Polymarket's users to ensure that our markets do what they do best. Surface truth. I gotta pause. No, you don't. You're not surfacing truth. You're surfacing mass human psychology. There might be a little truth to that, but it's not truth of what's actually going to happen. It's truth as to the psychology of a mass amount of people, what they think is going to happen. It doesn't make it so. Please stop saying that you have a utility that you do not have. Anyway, the rules and examples of prohibited behavior like a coach trading on sports contracts using inside knowledge about a star player's availability, or an ensemble performer buying shares in a market about which songs will be played at an event can be found on the site's market integrity page, accessible via its footer. Polymarket said it uses a multi-layered monitoring system to detect potential violations of its insider trading rules on its DeFi platform or its international version. On the U.S. side, it works with partners and a real-time control desk to identify unusual or disruptive trading activity. It also announced that it's working with Peter Thiel's Palantir. If you didn't get that, Polymarket is working with Peter Thiel's Palantir to create, quote, systems for surveilling sports-focused prediction markets, end quote. Monday's advance from Kalshi takes a more proactive approach to squashing insider trading on the platform, like in the example of a coach trading on sporting event that they are tied to. The firm announced it has established a new policy disallowing members connected to college or professional sports like coaches or players from trading markets, quote, associated with the sports that they are involved with. A Kalshi representative confirmed to Decrypt that athletes and others in the sports industry can trade in markets related to other sports that they are not involved with. Problematic at best, dude. The firm is also implementing preemptive screening for both athletic parties and politicians using screening lists that it has developed, which will allow it to block trades before they even occur. These efforts, which have been in the works for months, proactively address the CFTC's guidance and congressional bill proposals to prevent insider trading, the firm wrote. Insider trading allegations on prediction markets have drawn considerable attention and scrutiny this year, highlighted by anonymous traders winning major sums of money in markets related to subjects like, government actions. For example, one trader won more than $436,000 on the January ousting of Venezuelan President Nicolas Maduro, leading New York Representative Richie Torres to a draft bill that would keep federal employees from using prediction markets when they have relevant inside information. In February, an employee working for Mr. Beast was fined and suspended by Kalshi for trading on markets related to what Mr. Beast would say in videos posted to YouTube. The individual, a video editor named Artem Koptur, was later suspended and then fired from Beast Industries. 2 weeks prior to that, 2 Israelis were arrested in the country and charged with using classified information to make bets about military operations on Polymarket. Potential violations of the insider trading rules on Polymarket can be reported to the platform via Discord or email, its updated rules say. Yeah. It goes on just a little bit further than that. We don't need it. There's no way you can regulate this from your side. There's no way. Look, if I'm a coach, like let's say that I'm the head football coach of Texas Tech University Red Raiders, and I know that my quarterback is too injured to make next week's showing, but we haven't announced it yet. I don't have to make a market myself. I call up a buddy of mine, somebody who doesn't even share my last name, somebody who's not genetically related to me whatsoever, and I say, hey, Johnny, I got something for you. Why don't you call up Polymarket, make a market on this, and we'll split it 50-50. There's no way you can regulate this. There's no way that anybody else can regulate this shit either. It's all ridiculous. It's all absolutely ridiculous. And they mentioned Mr. Beast. So let's go ahead and do the Mr. Beast story right now. Will Mr. Beast push crypto on kids? Senator Warren raises alarm over banking app. So Mr. Beast is now getting into banking, I guess. Anyway, this is Decrypt. Senator Elizabeth Warren requested information Monday regarding Beast Industries' recent acquisition of Step, using the company created by YouTube star Mr. Beast to move cautiously, or urging the company to move cautiously as it weighs crypto for the mobile banking app designed for young investors. In a letter sent to Mr. Beast, the CEO Jeff Housenhold and Mr. Beast, whose real name is Johnny Donaldson, the crypto critic argued that the firm's history raises concern about its ability to manage a financial technology company, particularly one targeting children and teens. The 12-page letter focuses on Step's previous involvement in crypto. In 2022, the app announced that it had become the first platform in the U.S. to allow teenagers, with the consent of a parent or legal guardian, to purchase digital assets like Bitcoin. The company later advertised that it was expanding access to more than 50 digital assets, including NFTs. The senator argued that Step promoted risky investments on social media while providing users with resources that allegedly encouraged kids to pressure their parents into allowing crypto investments through Step, including a script that was posted on YouTube. Although Step backed away from crypto in 2024, Warren noted that Beast Industries has signaled its acquisition of Step could unlock opportunities with crypto and decentralized finance. Not long before, Beast Industries filed a trademark for Mr. Beast Financial with language that mentioned crypto-based services for trading and payments using DeFi. In a statement, a spokesperson for Beast Industries said that it appreciates Warren's outreach and the company plans on engaging with her as Step evolved under Mr. Beast. Warren's letter put forth 11 different questions for the company to answer, which includes procedures for accommodating users who lose funds due to fraud, scams, and cybersecurity failures. Quote, our primary motivation behind this deal is to improve the financial future of the next generation. We're examining all existing offerings and marketing approaches to ensure that Step's future is developed thoughtfully and deliberately, meets our very high quality standards, and is in compliance with applicable laws and regulatory requirements, end quote. So Mr. Beast Stepping into the realm of Elizabeth Pocahontas Warren. I'm not sure you want to do that there, Mr. Beast. She is on the warpath as ever when it comes to crypto. And if you even look like you're breathing something about crypto, well, then, sir, you're going to be under her ire. Okay. Delaware. I was going to do this part first, but you know what? Screw it. We'll do it now. Delaware lawmakers introduced bills to license stablecoin issuers and digital asset firms. So Delaware is definitely on the cutting edge here. The Block, Brian Danga is writing this one. Delaware moved to bring digital assets under state oversight on Monday, as lawmakers introduced two bills to license stablecoin issuers and allow state-chartered banks to hold and manage digital assets in a fiduciary capacity. The legislation was introduced by Senator Spiros Montzavinos, chair of the Senate Banking, Business and Insurance and Technology Committee, and Representative Bill Bush. Both bills are currently assigned to the Senate Banking Committee and await consideration, according to a statement. SB 19, the Delaware Payment Stablecoin Act, would establish a licensing regime for payment stablecoin issuers and digital asset service providers operating with or on behalf of Delaware residents. The bill would adopt definitions from the Federal Guiding and Establishing National Innovation for U.S. Stablecoins Act, or the Genius Act, and sets reserve requirements, mandatory redemption timing standards, capital requirements, anti-money laundering obligations, and data privacy provisions. It also includes a federal to state charter conversion pathway. Parallel to this, Senate Bill 16, or the Delaware Banking Modernization Act of 2026, would amend Title V of Delaware Code to add definitions for digital asset and virtual currency. The SB 16 bill also seeks to expand the state bank's commissioner's authority and clarifies that personal property under the state's fiduciary statutes include digital assets, allowing state-chartered banks and trust companies to hold and administer those in a fiduciary capacity. Quote, "It's been more than 4 decades since we've made any meaningful updates to our state's banking laws, and in that time, the way people bank and conduct transactions has changed significantly. We need to make sure our laws are keeping up with those changes," said Mr. Bush, who also chairs the House Economic Development, Banking, Insurance, and Commerce Committees. Per the statement, lawmakers are also considering additional legislation known as the Delaware Money Transmission and Virtual Currency Modernization Act, which is scheduled to be filed in the coming days. The upcoming bill is based on model legislation from the Conference of State Bank Supervisors and is designed to replace existing state money transmission laws with a framework intended to standardize licensing, coordinate supervision across states, and implement consumer protection mechanisms. So Delaware is right there in the thick of things. And it's interesting that they have made almost no moves up until now. And they're making the same moves that all the other states of the United States and countries around the world are going to have to make, because Bitcoin is not going away. And all the things that Bitcoin brought with it are not going away. Bitcoin opened the door. And it doesn't matter what's flowing through it. Most of it is crap. Most of it is garbage. Most of it is completely unnecessary and is there simply to take money out of your pockets. But there are a few items that are going to have utility. Stablecoins are finding that they have utility. I can't argue that. I can hate stablecoins until the world looks level, and it's not going to make people use it less. People are using stablecoins hand over fist. It's inflationary money, but it seems to have gained a very large utility. So it's not going away. So now all these people, all the time for this last 17 years, who have been pointing and laughing and thinking that they didn't have to do anything about any of this, are now finding themselves in a position where they have no choice at this point. There was a time not terribly long ago when it was almost unheard of that at any federal or state or city or county level, that the words virtual currency or digital asset would have needed to be included in discussions. They didn't want to talk about it. And now they have no choice but to put it in their Senate bills. That's how far we've come. And Australia looks like they might actually go one step further in the right direction this time. Pension fund Hostplus considers access to digital assets. Atlas 21 brings it to you. According to Bloomberg, Hostplus, Australia's third largest pension fund by membership, and they have 2.2 million members, and they manage $96 billion. They are considering introducing digital assets as an investment option. Sam Sakia, I can't pronounce his name, the fund's chief investment officer, told Bloomberg, quote, "There is definitely demand from some of our members who write to us asking, quote, why can't I access cryptocurrency?" End quote. The offering could become available as early as next financial year. Bitcoin and other digital assets would be made available through the Choice Plus investment option, which allows members to independently manage their own retirement portfolio. The plan is still in the design phase and will require regulatory approval as well as the resolution of a number of consumer protection issues. Cecilia clarified that the fund is prepared to wait as long as necessary to obtain regulatory clearance. Quote, "We would like to get approval, even if it means waiting another 6 months. We are long-term investors. 6 months doesn't substantially change things for us," end quote. Hostplus would not be the first Australian pension fund to embrace digital assets. AMP was the first super fund to introduce Bitcoin exposure in May 2024, though Bitcoin futures through Bitcoin futures contracts as part of its investment strategy. What? Why would you? What? You've got to actively manage futures contracts. Why don't you just buy the damn asset and just sit on it? Currently, the primary channel through which Australians access digital assets within retirement savings are self-managed super funds. Pension funds managed directly by individuals rather than large institutions, according to the investor study report by BTC Markets, an Australian exchange. SMSF registrations increased by 69% year on year during the year 2024 through 2025. Total assets in the Australian superannuation system were estimated at around 4,500 billion. Okay, I think that's a typo. It literally says it says Australian dollars, 4,500 billion at the end of the third quarter 2025, according to financial comparison website CanStar. That would be $4.5 trillion. And I don't think that that's correct. I think it's more, I think they blew something here. I think it's more like maybe $4.5 billion, but who knows? I don't do business in Australia. Okay, so there's one thing in here that I think is way more amazing than the fact that they might be able to buy Bitcoin in this particular Hostplus thing. It's this study over here. The self-managed, which means that you get to manage your own retirement fund, right? You've got a retirement plan through your place of work. Most of the time here in the United States, you just select a plan. And the plan manager does whatever the plan manager does. And the plan manager doesn't know you. Because like if you work for a university, they've got 3 different retirement plans. You go into HR on your first day, you select one, and you don't really know who the hell's buying what. You can look into it if you want, but you can't do anything. You can't say, I don't want this stock. Could you please trade that out for this other stock? Not going to happen. But this self-managed super fund seems to allow Australians to be able to do just that, to be able to manage their own retirement account. Now, that's not what I'm getting at. What I'm getting at as to what I find stupendous in this is that super or self-managed super fund registrations increased by almost 70% in a single year. What does that tell you? I think it tells me that regular people are waking up and they're starting to take responsibility for their own shit. They can do it in Australia. I'd like to see more of this here in the United States. I don't think it's right for me to say that kind of thing doesn't exist in the US, but I will tell you this. When I worked at Texas Tech, you had a choice between 3 retirement plans, and you got to manage none of them. You just got to manage which one you picked. And every year, basically you could change if you wanted to. But during that year, and nobody does that. They pick one retirement plan and they just go for it, man. And that's it. They don't get to manage it. So the amount of people that are starting to self-manage their retirement accounts, increasing by almost 70% in Australia, is kind of amazing. Now, the last one on the list, Total Energies to exit offshore wind projects in the United States. They're going to invest $1 billion in liquefied natural gas instead under a United States government deal. And this is, DPA AFX is the outfit that's writing this one. The U.S. Department of the Interior said it reached an agreement with Total Energies SE, under which the company decided to not pursue costly offshore wind leases. Instead, it will redirect $1 billion in capital from offshore wind leasing to less costly oil, natural gas, and LNG projects in the United States. That's all you need to know. This Mideast mess that we're in is now starting to look like it may be extended to the point that these people are going to start investing in what is now at fairly high prices. West Texas Intermediate is still at $91.78 right now. And you don't start investing in these kinds of things because these are long-term projects, right? You don't start investing in them at the top unless one of two things are true. One, it's a fad and you're not that smart in your intelligence gathering, like, is this real Mideast thing really going to last? Or something. Because they could just as easily do offshore wind leases and probably be just fine. Or they know that some plug is going to be pulled in green energy. But all of this, I guarantee you, is linked to this mess in the Middle East. It is basically showing the world beyond any shadow of a doubt there is no substitution right now for fossil fuels. There just isn't. We could wrap the entire globe in solar panels and it probably won't do anything. Especially not now we've got the growth of AI, data centers, high performance compute, all that shit is eating every extra electron that could be produced at this point, and it's gonna get worse. The world is being shown you have to have oil, you have to have natural gas. Some of that natural gas needs to be liquefied, and that's a large project. Developing facilities to be able to liquefy natural gas is not exactly easy. And here we have $1 billion investment from somebody who's used to doing green energy going into oil and gas. So we'll just let that lay right there. That's it for all that I am bringing you this morning. I hope you do have a good Tuesday. Let's just hope shit doesn't get even more crazy throughout the rest of it. I'll see you on the other side. This has been Bitcoin and I'm your host, David Bennett. I hope you enjoyed today's episode and hope to see you again real soon. Have a great day.